The English Premier League stood as a financial titan a decade ago. Lucrative television deals dwarfed those of its European counterparts. The league brimmed with excitement, captivating fans worldwide, yet a nagging truth lingered beneath the surface. English football faltered on the continental stage. It lacked the tactical innovation and dominance seen elsewhere. The late 2000s offered a tantalizing glimpse of English supremacy. Liverpool conquered Europe in 2005, defying their domestic form. Manchester United and Chelsea graced Champions League finals in 2008 and 2012, respectively. However, these triumphs felt more like last hurrahs than a sustained assault on European glory. The rest of Europe surpassed the EPL tactically. English clubs boasted financial muscle but lacked a defined footballing identity. They oscillated between reactive defence-first approaches and attempts to replicate the continent's possession-based game. Yet they remained pale imitations of their European counterparts. A sense of stagnation pervaded, a yearning for a revolution. The Premier League basked in its commercial success, but it yearned for a return to footballing dominance. The ingredients were there: passionate fans, financial resources, and a history of producing world-class players. What it lacked was a clear direction, a tactical revolution that would propel English football back to the pinnacle of the sport. – 2016 marked a watershed moment in English football history. Two managerial titans, Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola, arrived on English shores. They brought with them revolutionary tactical philosophies honed in the crucible of German and Spanish football. Their arrival heralded a new era, one that would redefine English football and reassert its dominance on the European stage. Jurgen Klopp, the charismatic German, took the helm at Liverpool. His high-pressing, heavy-metal football had taken Borussia Dortmund to unprecedented heights, challenging Bayern Munich's hegemony in Germany. Pep Guardiola, the meticulous Catalan tactician, assumed control of Manchester City. Having revolutionized football with Barcelona's tiki-taka, he sought to replicate his success in England. The arrival of Klopp and Guardiola injected a much-needed dose of tactical sophistication into the EPL. Their contrasting styles, high-octane pressing versus possession-based dominance, promised a fascinating clash of philosophies. Little did anyone know that this clash would elevate not only their respective clubs but English football as a whole. Their impact was immediate and profound. Klopp's Liverpool, a team languishing in mid-table mediocrity, transformed into a high-pressing, goal-scoring juggernaut. Guardiola's Manchester City, already a force to be reckoned with, reached new heights of possession-based dominance, strangling opponents with their intricate passing and relentless movement. The Premier League had never seen anything quite like it. To comprehend the magnitude of Klopp's impact, one must first understand the state of English football upon his arrival. The Premier League had emerged from an era defined by pragmatism, where defensive solidity often trumped attacking flair. It was effective, but it wasn't particularly easy on the eye. Klopp's arrival at Anfield in October 2015 was like a bolt from the blue. Here was a manager who embodied a completely different philosophy, one built on relentless pressing, rapid transitions, and an unwavering belief in attacking football. He called it heavy metal football. The Premier League, accustomed to a more conservative rhythm, was about to get a serious jolt of energy. The German's philosophy was as much about mentality as it was about tactics. He demanded his players embrace a high-intensity, high-pressing style that aimed to win the ball back as quickly and as high up the pitch as possible. This approach, honed during his time at Borussia Dortmund, was about suffocating opponents, forcing errors, and launching devastating counterattacks. Klopp's charisma and infectious enthusiasm quickly won over the Anfield faithful. His touchline antics, his passionate celebrations, and his genuine connection with the fans breathed new life into a club yearning for success. Liverpool, once a byword for near misses and glorious failures, was about to embark on a journey that would see them reclaim their place at the pinnacle of European football. Klopp's impact wasn't confined to the red half of Merseyside. His arrival had a seismic effect on the Premier League as a whole, fundamentally altering the way teams approached the game. The high press, once a tactical novelty employed by a select few, quickly gained traction as a legitimate and highly effective way to play. Under Klopp, Liverpool became the Premier League's pressing pioneers. They hunted in packs, swarming opponents with a ferocity and intensity that was rarely seen in English football. The statistics spoke for themselves. Liverpool's opponents were consistently forced into mistakes, surrendering possession in dangerous areas and giving Klopp's men the platform to launch their devastating attacks. This high-octane approach had a ripple effect throughout the league. Teams, both big and small, began to incorporate elements of pressing into their own game. Midfielders became more aggressive, defenders pushed higher, and attackers were tasked with leading the press from the front. The days of passive defending and waiting for the opportunity to counter were fading fast. The Premier League was evolving before our very eyes. The league, once known for its directness and physicality, was becoming faster, more intense and more tactically sophisticated. Klopp's influence was undeniable. He hadn't just transformed Liverpool, he had revolutionized the way English football was played. Evolution, not revolution. Klopp's tactical nuance. While Klopp's Liverpool became synonymous with their relentless pressing, it would be a mistake to pigeonhole them as a one-dimensional team. The German tactician was not averse to adapting his approach, recognizing that sustained success required more than just outworking opponents. He understood the need for balance, for control, and for a plan B. One of the key criticisms levelled at Klopp's early Liverpool side was their vulnerability in possession. While their pressing game was devastatingly effective, they could be susceptible to teams who were able to withstand the initial onslaught and play through their lines. This weakness was ruthlessly exposed in the 2016 Europa League final, where Sevilla's clever movement and precise passing proved too much for a tired Liverpool team. Klopp acknowledged this flaw and set about addressing it. He recognised the need for his team to be more comfortable in possession, to control the tempo of games and to hurt opponents in different ways. This led to a gradual evolution in Liverpool's style, as they added a more measured, possession-based approach to their already potent attacking arsenal. The signing of Thiago Alcantara, a midfield maestro renowned for his passing range and ability to dictate the tempo of a game, was a clear indication of Klopp's desire to add a touch of finesse to Liverpool's heavy metal. The Spaniards' arrival, coupled with the continued development of full-backs Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson as creative outlets, transformed Liverpool into a team capable of dominating opponents with and without the ball. The Guardiola paradox: can possession football conquer England? Pep Guardiola's arrival at Manchester City in 2016 was met with a mixture of excitement and scepticism. Here was a manager who had achieved unprecedented success with Barcelona, revolutionizing football with his tiki-taka style of play. But could this possession-based approach, so effective in Spain and Germany, truly conquer the hurly-burly world of English football? Doubts lingered in the minds of pundits and fans alike. The Premier League, known for its physicality, directness and unpredictable nature, seemed a world away from the more technical, possession-oriented leagues where Guardiola had previously thrived. Many wondered if his intricate passing triangles and high defensive line would be found out against the pace, power and pragmatism of English football. Adding fuel to the fire were the pronouncements of some of the game's most respected figures. Sir Alex Ferguson, the legendary Manchester United manager, cautioned that Guardiola won't find it easy, highlighting the unique challenges posed by English football. Others, like former Manchester United defender Gary Neville, questioned whether City's players had the technical ability to implement Guardiola's demanding style. The stage was set for a fascinating tactical experiment. Could Guardiola's possession-based philosophy, so dominant elsewhere, truly conquer the Premier League? Or would the unique demands of English football prove to be his undoing? Silencing the doubters, Guardiola's tactical triumph. Guardiola's first season in England did little to silence the doubters. While Manchester City dominated possession, as expected, they struggled to convert their dominance into silverware. They finished a disappointing third in the Premier League, 15 points behind Antonio Conte's title-winning Chelsea side. The critics had a field day. Guardiola's style, they argued, was too predictable, too easy to stifle. English football, with its emphasis on physicality and directness, was simply not suited to such a patient, possession-based approach. Some even went as far as to suggest that Guardiola, for all his success elsewhere, was tactically naive and out of his depth in the Premier League. However, Guardiola remained unfazed by the criticism. He had faced doubters throughout his career, and he had always responded in the same way, by sticking to his principles, refining his methods, and ultimately proving his doubters wrong. He knew that his team needed time to adapt to his philosophy, and he was confident that they would come back stronger. The 2017-18 season marked a turning point. Manchester City, now fully immersed in Guardiola's philosophy, embarked on a record-breaking campaign. They romped to the Premier League title with a staggering 100 points, playing a brand of football that was as breathtaking as it was effective. The doubters had been silenced, and a new era of dominance had begun. Passing the test, redefining English football's identity. Manchester City's success under Guardiola was not just about winning trophies, it was about changing the very fabric of English football. The team's relentless passing, their ability to control games from start to finish, and their unwavering commitment to attacking football captivated fans and pundits alike. Guardiola had demonstrated that possession football, far from being a foreign concept unsuited to the English game, could be a potent weapon in the Premier League. He had shown that teams could dominate not just by being bigger, stronger or faster, but by being smarter, more technical and more tactically astute. The impact of Guardiola's philosophy extended far beyond the Etihad Stadium. Teams across the Premier League began to adopt elements of his possession-based approach, recognizing the importance of controlling the ball and dictating the tempo of games. The league, once known for its directness and physicality, was becoming more technical, more tactical and more pleasing on the eye. Guardiola had not just transformed Manchester City, he had helped to redefine the very identity of English football. He had shown that English teams, with the right guidance and the right players, could compete with the best in the world, not by mimicking their style, but by forging their own path. A rivalry for the ages, Klopp versus Guardiola. The arrival of Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola on English shores in 2015 and 2016 respectively heralded the beginning of a managerial rivalry for the ages. Here were two tactical titans, each with a distinct and highly successful philosophy set to lock horns in the world's most demanding league. The footballing world watched with bated breath. Klopp, the charismatic German, had made his name with Borussia Dortmund, disrupting Bayern Munich's dominance with a high-octane, heavy-metal style of play built on relentless pressing, rapid transitions and a never-say-die attitude. Guardiola, the meticulous Catalan tactician, had redefined football with Barcelona's tiki-taka, a possession-based philosophy that emphasized intricate passing, intelligent movement and total control. Their early encounters in the Premier League were a fascinating clash of styles. Klopp's Liverpool, a whirlwind of energy and intensity, looked to unsettle City's rhythm, forcing errors and hitting them on the break. Guardiola's City, meanwhile, sought to establish their dominance in possession, patiently probing for openings and suffocating Liverpool's press with their technical superiority. The rivalry transcended the technical and tactical aspects of the game. It was a clash of personalities, of philosophies, of two different ways of seeing and playing the beautiful game. The mutual respect between the two managers was evident, but so too was their burning desire to outwit and outmaneuver the other. This was a rivalry that would come to define an era of English football. Antithesis to synthesis, the convergence of styles. As the Klopp-Guardiola rivalry unfolded, an intriguing dynamic emerged. While their respective philosophies remained distinct, there was a gradual but noticeable convergence of styles. Liverpool, initially reliant on their chaotic pressing game, began to incorporate elements of Guardiola's possession-based approach. City, meanwhile, while retaining their commitment to control, added a layer of ruthlessness to their game, becoming more adept at exploiting transitions and punishing opponents on the break. Liverpool's evolution was perhaps the more pronounced of the two. Recognizing that sustained success required more than just outworking opponents, Klopp sought to add a layer of control to his team's game. The signings of players like Thiago Alcantara, a midfield maestro renowned for his passing range and composure, were a clear indication of Klopp's desire to build a team capable of dictating the tempo of games. City, on the other hand, became more pragmatic, more willing to adapt their approach depending on the opponent and the situation. While they remained committed to their possession-based principles, they also developed a ruthlessness in transition, often punishing teams who dared to press them high up the pitch. The arrival of Erling Haaland, a physically imposing striker with blistering pace, further enhanced City's ability to hurt teams on the counter. This convergence of styles was a testament to the tactical acumen of both Klopp and Guardiola. They recognized that to stay ahead of the curve, they had to constantly evolve, to learn from each other, and to refine their own approaches. The result was a fascinating tactical arms race that pushed both teams to new heights. The mutual evolution of Liverpool and Manchester City under Klopp and Guardiola, respectively, was a testament to the transformative power of their rivalry. Each manager, forced to confront the other's strengths, adapted and refined their own approach, creating two of the most complete and formidable teams in modern football history. Liverpool's transformation was perhaps most evident in their midfield. Once a functional unit tasked primarily with winning the ball and feeding the front three, the midfield evolved into a hub of creativity and control under Klopp. The additions of Thiago and Fabinho, coupled with the emergence of homegrown talents like Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott, gave Liverpool a midfield capable of dictating the tempo of games, breaking down stubborn defences and controlling the transitions. City, while retaining their core principles of possession and positional play, became more adept at exploiting the spaces created by teams who dared to press them high. They developed a devastating counter-attacking threat, with players like Kevin De Bruyne, Raheem Sterling and Phil Foden capable of transitioning from defence to attack with lightning speed and lethal precision. The evolution of both teams was a testament to the tactical genius of their respective managers. Klopp's Liverpool, once a whirlwind of chaotic pressing, learned to control the game with intelligence and precision. Guardiola's City, while retaining their commitment to possession-based dominance, added a layer of ruthlessness to their game, becoming a devastating counter-attacking force. This mutual evolution, driven by their intense rivalry, elevated both teams to unprecedented heights and redefined the possibilities of modern football. The tactical revolution spearheaded by Klopp and Guardiola wasn't confined to subjective observations about style and aesthetics. It manifested in concrete statistical shifts that underlined the profound impact they had on the Premier League's tactical landscape. One of the most telling metrics was the increase in high turnovers, possessions won in the attacking third. Under Klopp, Liverpool became masters of turning defence into attack in the blink of an eye, their relentless pressing forcing opponents into costly errors in dangerous areas. This tactical approach was reflected in the statistics, with Liverpool consistently ranking among the league leaders in high turnovers. Guardiola's City, while not as overtly aggressive in their pressing, also became increasingly adept at winning the ball back high up the pitch. Their intricate passing triangles and intelligent positioning often lured opponents into a false sense of security before pouncing on loose balls and launching swift counter-attacks. This tactical evolution was evident in City's steadily increasing number of possessions starting in the final third. These statistical shifts weren't limited to the top two. The influence of Klopp and Guardiola permeated the entire league, prompting a widespread adoption of pressing and possession-based principles. The Premier League, once characterized by directness and physicality, was becoming increasingly tactical, with teams placing a higher premium on winning the ball back quickly and building attacks from the back. Perhaps the most striking statistical shift in the Premier League during the Klopp-Guardiola era was the dramatic increase in passing volume and efficiency. Guardiola in particular challenged the long-held belief that possession-based football was incompatible with the Premier League's demanding nature. His Manchester City team became synonymous with their intricate passing carousels, patiently probing for openings and suffocating opponents with their relentless ball circulation. The statistics painted a clear picture. City consistently led the league in possession percentage, pass completion rate, and passes per game, often by a significant margin. What was initially met with skepticism, could a team really pass their way to the Premier League title, quickly transformed into acceptance, then admiration. City's success wasn't just about keeping the ball, it was about using possession as a weapon to control the tempo, create chances, and ultimately dismantle their opponents. The rise of passing wasn't limited to City. Liverpool under Klopp, while initially more direct in their approach, also embraced the importance of controlled possession as a means of dictating the tempo and breaking down stubborn defences. The evolution of fullbacks Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson into creative hubs, capable of delivering pinpoint crosses and defence-splitting passes, further augmented Liverpool's passing prowess. The tactical innovations of the Klopp-Guardiola era weren't about choosing between pressing and passing, it was about mastering the interplay between the two. Both managers recognized that these seemingly opposing approaches were, in fact, complementary, each enhancing the effectiveness of the other. Klopp's Liverpool, renowned for their high-octane pressing, realized that sustained success required more than just winning the ball back quickly. They needed to control the game after winning possession, to dictate the tempo and prevent their opponents from launching counterattacks of their own. This realization led to a greater emphasis on retaining possession, building patiently from the back, and using the ball as a tool to manage the game. Guardiola's City, while masters of possession football, understood that even the most intricate passing sequences were vulnerable to a well-executed high press. To counter this, they developed a remarkable ability to play through pressure, to maintain their composure in tight spaces, and to exploit the gaps created by opponents who overcommitted to the press. This constant tactical dance, this push and pull between pressing and passing, became a hallmark of the Klopp-Guardiola era. It was a testament to their tactical ingenuity, their ability to adapt and evolve, and their understanding that true dominance lay in mastering both sides of the game. The Klopp-Guardiola era in English football, though now passing into the annals of history, will resonate for decades to come. Their impact transcends trophies and titles, although both managers amassed a treasure trove of silverware during their reigns. Their true legacy lies in their transformative effect on the tactical fabric of the Premier League. They arrived at a time when English football, despite its financial might, seemed tactically adrift. The league, once a byword for directness and physicality, had become somewhat predictable, lacking the tactical sophistication and innovation seen elsewhere in Europe. Klopp and Guardiola, each with their distinct yet equally revolutionary philosophies, injected a much-needed dose of dynamism and complexity into the English game. Klopp's heavy metal football, with its emphasis on relentless pressing, rapid transitions, and an almost evangelical zeal for attacking, re-energized Liverpool and captivated the Premier League. He demonstrated that a team could outwork, outrun, and outfight their opponents, not through brute force, but through a highly coordinated and meticulously drilled system of play. Guardiola, meanwhile, dispelled the myth that possession-based football was incompatible with the hurly-burly nature of the Premier League. His Manchester City team, with their intricate passing triangles, fluid movement, and almost telepathic understanding, redefined what was possible with a ball at their feet. They weren't just winning, they were dominating, controlling games from the first whistle to the last, and turning their opponents into frustrated spectators. The departure of Jurgen Klopp from Liverpool, following Pep Guardiola's earlier exit from Manchester City, marks the end of a remarkable chapter in Premier League history. Their rivalry, characterized by mutual respect, tactical innovation, and an unwavering pursuit of excellence, elevated the English game to unprecedented heights. But what now for the Premier League? Will it regress to a pre-Klopp Guardiola state, or will their legacy continue to inspire a new generation of managers and players? The answer, as with most things in football, is complex and multifaceted. The tactical innovations ushered in by Klopp and Guardiola, high-intensity pressing, intricate passing networks, the fusion of attacking flair with defensive solidity, are now deeply ingrained in the Premier League's DNA. Teams up and down the table, from the title contenders to the relegation battlers, have incorporated elements of these philosophies into their own game. The challenge for the Premier League now is to avoid becoming a caricature of itself. The danger is that teams, in their pursuit of replicating the Klopp-Guardiola blueprint, will become predictable and formulaic. The beauty of their rivalry lay not just in their tactical brilliance, but in their ability to constantly adapt, evolve, and outmaneuver each other. The future of the Premier League lies in finding a balance between continuity and innovation, embracing the tactical principles championed by Klopp and Guardiola while simultaneously encouraging new ideas, experimentation, and a willingness to challenge the status quo. The Premier League must strive to be both a proving ground for established tactical concepts and a crucible for forging new ones. The legacy of Klopp and Guardiola is secure, their names etched in Premier League folklore. Their impact, however, extends far beyond the trophies and accolades. They have fundamentally altered the way the game is played in England, leaving behind a blueprint for success, a challenge for future generations to emulate, surpass, and perhaps one day redefine.